Welcome to the Church Explorer, and today, well, we're just coming through the village of Denton in Northamptonshire after having a rather disappointing visit to St Margaret's Church in Denton, and I'm driving over to a tiny little hamlet called Wiston. Now, there's a wonderful church there, and although it's not in use any longer, it's one of my favourite little haunts. I have filmed it for you before, but I'm going to go up and hopefully the church will be open. It normally is. I don't know who opens it, but someone obviously in the past when I've been, obviously very diligent in opening the church. But church stands on a hill, and the views from it, etc., are rather magnificent, and the church itself is lovely inside. So hopefully, without too much hassle, that's where we will go. But I also know from the last couple of videos that I put up, some people, you know, they really enjoyed the fact that I film going out, you know, driving down the country lanes, trying to find these churches for you to look at. And again, as I mentioned in the short video that I've just done of the Denton church, is that 60% of the people that watch the channel don't actually subscribe. Now, it doesn't cost a bean, not a thing. It's totally free to subscribe. Subscribe just means that you're following the channel. Excuse me. And if I can get that 60% to actually subscribe, it will help the channel grow no end. I'm trying to get it to at least 1,000 followers. I wish they'd changed that word from subscribe to follow on YouTube, but I don't know. I wish to heavens that they would. I have just spotted the church. As I've told you, the church at Wiston sits on a hill, and you can see it for miles. Now, if I find somewhere that's appropriate to pull up, I will try and film it from a distance for you first. But having said that, I am on this tiny little lane, and I've got to be careful, people. Da, 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 da. There we go. Whoa, la la la. Get a load of that then. Let's have a little tickle down here. I do hope you actually enjoy these little forays of mine down these country lanes and that, and as you can see, it's an absolute wonderful day here today in England. It's a little breezy, but it's not cold. It's nice and warm. The sun is shining. We got blue skies, few scattered clouds. Quite frankly, what more could you ask for on a Saturday afternoon? I had to double check there, make sure it was Saturday in my head. Also, another thing I was going to explain to you is that I also write books. I've got to be careful here. Ah, there's our church, people, right before our very eyes. Now, hold on a second. Okay, I've had to put the car on a little tiny verge down that lane. We're now on Shanks's pony. And as you can see, there is this wonderful church in the distance. I wanted to show you exactly where it lies. And with a bit of luck, I remember from, I haven't been here for a long time. Let me pan in a little bit. What's going on here? There we go. There's the church. Sorry about that, people. And yeah, I haven't been here for a very long time, so it's quite a climb to get to that church. Right, but I'll show you. It's in the most fabulous spot and overlooks Northamptonshire. I believe that's, I'm not certain, but that's a part of Northamptonshire, and I'm not sure if that's Earl's Barton, something like that in the distance. And then I think in that direction you've got Wellingborough. But yeah, so with a bit of luck, it's got a fantastic story behind it, this church, and the connections. So let's see if we can get in there, people. And we're going to get back in the car and take a drive down this little lane and hopefully find somewhere to park. I've always been lucky in the past, so we'll try again. Okay, catch you in a few minutes. Okay, we're at the bottom of the hill now and parked up, and I'll just show you a little tiny piece. Right, as I say, this is it's no more than a hamlet, this place. Just show you around. Oh, it looks like some beautiful lavender over there, and there's this wonderful old farmhouse here. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? And to get to the church, people, what we have to do is go for a bit of a tromp. Tromp, what's it to be, a romp or a tromp? Now, I won't be filming all the way up here, okay, because it's quite a long way, and quite a hard walk, because it gets steeper and steeper and steeper as we get around the corners. But I just thought I'd show you some of the lengths I go to making these videos for you. That's why it peeves me in a way that many people watch the channel and watch many of the videos, but they can't be bothered just to press that subscribe button. As I say, it costs nothing. But anyway, that's that. I know that I'll be completely out of puff by the time I get up this hill, so I'm going to kill the camera for the moment, and then I'll strike it back up again a bit further up. Yes, I'm at the top of the hill now. Look what I see. There we go. If I pan round, here we are. Now, I call this the Church of Cats. And if you hear little lambs crying in the background, and if it's open, you'll see the reason why I call it the Church of Cats. This has always been one of my favourite churches, even though it's not currently used. I just love its location. Ooh, told you I was to be out of puff. And as you can hear, being up on this hill, it really has got windy. Wow, lads, people, that is so windy up here. I can't believe how windy it's suddenly got. My goodness, the second I walked through the gate, the wind just caught me. I'll step over. Got to be careful, as always, where I walk, because you know what I'm like. I'm always falling over. But yeah, I've always loved this town. Lovely sandstone, isn't it? I think it's Northamptonshire sandstone, if I recall. I don't know if the door's open. Oh, the door is open. Thank goodness for that. Now, this church was all part of the house that sits behind me, which I'm just about to show you. It was all part of the manor house over there, where, if memory serves me, this is where the Catesby family lived. And I do recall that they played a part in the plot to blow up Parliament with Guy Fawkes. Wow, it is terribly windy up here, isn't it? Let's take a wander in. I'm always pleased to come up here, whether it's windy, raining, snowing. I just love coming up and visiting this church for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what my you know, if there's any type of affiliation with this church. No, I didn't want to blow up Parliament, not back then anyway. But yeah, you'll see it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And for the most part, they've kept it all original, which I think is superb. Look at this. Oops. Sometimes this gimbal has a mind of its own. There we go. That beautiful. Oop. Oh, Stevie got the step. Got Stevie. Look at that. Wonderful colours. Beautiful. What's this say? To the glory of God, a pearl grown Shire doubles, 5,000 changes being 42 6 scores. This is all about ringing the bells. Each called differently. We rang in 3 hours 15 minutes on the 25th day of November 1905, and then it's got a list of the bell ringers there. Conducted by O'Payne. First peal on these bells. Wow. Yeah. What's it say here? On Easter Eve, April 11th, 1936, we rang on these bells in 3 hours 7 minutes per double. So that's basically repeating, I think, what it says there. No, it doesn't. But anyway, look at this magnificent church. It is absolutely, well, mind-blowing. It is so, so gorgeous. I just love coming up here, as I say. Apart from when I fall down one of the steps, of course. Let me unload a couple of my bags. I've come up with everything today. Oops. I'm going to take a wander down. No matter how many times I come here, I always enjoy coming up here. Look at these lovely old pews. They must have known I was coming. Look, it says mind the step. So they knew I was coming here today, knowing that I always fall over. I could spend hours, well I have spent hours up here actually in the past, but it's been a long, long time since I was here. This is panning back towards the tower. And although the church isn't in use, I do know that they still come up here and hold concerts and things here. Something over there I've just seen is the other door open, and I've never seen that open before. obviously to get some air through the church and dry it out. But look at this door, look at the thickness of it, people, and the massive bolts. Look at that, doesn't that make for a doesn't that make for a fantastic photograph, either in or out? Let's see if I can do that. Now we're back to video. I managed to grab a couple of photographs there. So anyway, let's keep the story going about this gorgeous church. As I say, I call it the Church of Cats, because it is connected to the Catesby family, and this here is the memorial of Sir John Catesby. It says there of Arthrington, in this something who died in 1484 of his foxing, whatever that means, I don't know, maybe it was foxing, I don't know, in something or whatever. Here he died in the year following, da-di-da-di-da, and then we got Henry Catesby, Knight, 1503, Anthony Catesby Esquire, something founded this church. This church was founded in 1534 by Anthony Catesby. There you go, 1534. There you go, people, how amazing. And this, it really is, well, just stunning. Let's take a look down. To me, there's just nothing that you cannot love about this church. Underneath here, we have a wooden altar. Look at that. And here also, this rodeo, which again, I know I repeat myself, but I fell in love with this the first time I saw it. I think you can understand the reasons why. Now, if you look here, I don't know if you can see my finger, but this, I think is supposed to be St. Peter, isn't it? But if you look, in actual fact, it is a woman. And then that goes back, and if you ever read the book, The Da Vinci Code, by Dan Brown, right, that'll make a lot more sense to you. But I also know that it's been mentioned, not just in his book, but mentioned year on year on year, or many, many years, and in many, many books, right, that there was always a woman sat beside Christ at the Last Supper. So there you have it. Again, I've got to be careful where I stand. Look at this. Glorious, isn't it? I can't get up to read any of the inscriptions because it's far too high. What I can see is something, the 3rd Baron Boston of March. Well, March, and it's in Lincolnshire, a little place in Lincolnshire. And then we've got something, loved Father George Irby. Irby's a village not very far away. I think we have some people coming in, so I'll have to stop the filming and then come back. we also have another memorial to my right hand side which I want to show you, which again is extraordinary. I wanted to show you this. Gillimus Irby, Barrow, I think that's supposed to be Baron de Boston, in Agro, that's supposed to be Lincolnshire. You see this, how they're spelled Lincolnshire. Isn't that wonderful? Wow. And up on the top there's a coat of arms. Absolutely super. And then to the left of that we have over here, in this vault beneath are interred the remains of the Honourable and Reverend William Augustine Irby, third son of Frederick and Christian Lord and Lady Boston, and rector of this church. He died March 10th, 1807, and he was only 26 years old. Good heavens. But Irby is a small village round here, I believe. Unless it's a village in Lincolnshire, I can't remember off the top of my head. And here on the floor, we have the Right Honourable Lady Boston, died April the 5th, I think that is, 1769. She was aged 50. They're all dying quite early, weren't they? We have another one over here. This one I can't read because it's so worn. Thomas Catesby, Esquire. And that dates back to 1698. And here, George Attaché something, and this dates back to 1659. But yeah, I always like coming up to this church. I don't know, there's something very peaceful about it. Here we have a series of hatchments on the wall. And again, if I can, I may be able to pan in a little bit for you. There you go. Whoops. There we go. And we have another memorial here to the memory of Frederick, 2nd Baron of Boston, who was Lord of something. I can't read that because it's worn away. Yeah, as you can see, the church is a bit damp on this wall, people. But yes, I'll put a link in down below if I can find one. If anybody wants to make a donation to this wonderful church, then I'm sure that they will appreciate it. I'll pan up to this other hatchment up there. Maybe someone knows, well, I presume that these hatchments relate to the barons. Here we have Fanny Elizabeth, Lady Boston. No one ever uses that name, Fanny, these days, do they? The beloved wife of the Right Honourable George Ives, 4th Baron of Boston in Lincolnshire. Born 2nd of May 1808, and she died in 1860. She was only 51. Again, another one, died quite early. I wonder why. Ooh, I hear some bees or something here. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm going to have to be careful. Yeah, I think there's a wasp nest in here somewhere. Ooh, I don't like those. I've been stung by them before. And here we have the Honourable William Drake Irby, late captain in the 1st Dragoon Guards, second son of Lord Boston and Rachel Ives, his wife. He departed life October the 17th, 1839, and he was only 31. His remains were interred at Taplow in the county of Bucks. I wonder why that is. He brought down my strength in my journey and shortened my days. Wow. I don't know what that relates to. But look at this wonderful archway. As I say, there's just nothing that you can not like about this wonderful church. If I pan up to the roof again, I'll try and show you. That's about as far as I can pan in, I think. Yeah. Yes, Wiston was part of a large manor, and the hill that we sit on up on this church apparently is called Coombe Hill. There's a house apparently down below somewhere, or place house, as the remains of a moat and contains some portions of a medieval building. I wonder if that's the manor house I see opposite. It says here, the history of the manor has been exhaustively documented. First records show it was owned by the East Saxon ealdorman Brintnor, who gave it to Ramsey Abbey in 953 AD. In turn, the abbey's tenant at Wiston in 1086 was William de Wiston. There were at least a dozen owners in the 13th, 14th centuries, including the Earl of Gloucester. It says here, the next significant event was the death of Sir John Catesby in 1486, when he was succeeded by his son Anthony, the builder of the present church. Last of the line was Thomas, who died in 1699. Incidentally, the Catesbys of Wiston were probably related to Robert Catesby of Ashby St Ledgers, who was involved, there you go, in the Gunpowder Plot. I knew there was a connection there. However, in Elizabethan times, Wiston was a Protestant stronghold. The manor then passed via the female line to Sir Edward Irby of Boston's Links. His son William was created Baron Boston in 1761. The current 11th Baron of Boston, George Irby, succeeded in 1971. The church was built in 1534 by Sir Anthony Catesby and his wife and their son John. It is about 30 metres long and 13 metres wide. Simple design, built on the foundations of a previous church. Well, it has a chancel, nave, a north and south aisle, small south porch and a west tower. These wonderful arts and craft candle holders were apparently donated to the church from Castle Ashby, which is just down the road. Hi, thank you for watching the Church Explorer and being here with me today at St Mary's Church in the small hamlet of Whiston in Northamptonshire. As I say, this is one of my favourite churches and I do hope you enjoy the video. If you want to come and visit the church, it's open most certainly most weekends, and if you wish to donate to the church, I'll try and see if I can find a link and put it in the description down below. Okay, please like, subscribe. Come on you guys, all those ones that watch the channel and they don't subscribe, help me out now, come on. Just click that link, says subscribe, click the bell, you'll get updates when I put new stuff up. It doesn't cost you anything at all, but it will help me out immensely. Okay, so thank you very much for that. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this anyway. As I say, it's my favourite, one of my favourite churches, and yeah, come and explore it yourself also. So take good care now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Font, very simple, but yeah, I wanted to remind you, I'm sure that the Catesbys played a hand in the attempted blowing up a Parliament with Guy Fawkes. I'm sure I saw some history about that somewhere. I love the way the sun shines through the window here. Behind these curtains, and you know I always like curtains in a church. Look at this little organ. Wow, and we have some even more graved stones here, look. But yeah, look at this lovely little organ. No, it's all buttoned down. I'm not going to attempt to open it up. But as you can see, there's a paddle here, right, where you pump it up. And then these will open up also. Wow. That in itself is just fantastic. We have one here. Sacred Memory of Mary, the beloved wife of Honourable William Henry Irby, youngest daughter, and something Cobies, I don't know what that means, if anybody knows. of Roland Blackman, Esquire, of the something Antigua, of whom it may be something true be fade, that none of her sex in any station of her life supported with more unification, something confidence, I think that's supposed to be, the favourable, admirable and important characteristics of a dutiful, attentive daughter, of a kind, of a benevolent friend, of a prudent and affectionate wife, of a tender and indulgent mother, and which was the source of all the virtues, of a financy and well-informed Christian. She was prematurely, for all except herself, taken from this world to the enjoyment of the endless facilities on the 30th of June 1792. And again, another one, she was only 48.